Hey everybody, this is Ife Olua of the White Noise Supremacists, and I'm going to talk to you a bit about my song, This Dream Won't Leave Her. I wrote this song a while ago while I was still living in Berlin, and I was just fooling around in my practice space on the drums. And so it was basically like the drums and the bass and the piano that came first. And I just left it there for years, and I just never really touched it because I don't like to rush songs. I like to let songs come to me as they do because I don't really like feeling like songwriting is work. Like some songs naturally finish quickly. Like I wrote How Do You Wish to Go from beginning to end in 5 hours. But then another song like These Walls Will Burn and Splinter, I let it sit for, I think, over 10 years before I finally completed it. After I put out my album in 2022, I was thinking of putting out something else, and I was just rummaging through my files and I found that song and I just really felt ready to complete it. I've been the White Noise Supremacist for almost 20 years now. May 31st, 2024 begins my 18th year of being the White Noise Supremacist. So I think the title, This Dream Won't Leave Her, it has multiple meanings. I describe it as commitment to an ideal against all opposition. Because when I was younger and I was first starting the White Noise Supremacist, I was first becoming like socially aware, racially aware, aware of gender issues and stuff like that. Older people dismissed me. Like when I was like 19, 20 years old, older people were like, oh, you're so naive. You believe in things now, but just wait. You're gonna conform because society's gonna crush you. And it felt kind of like ominous and like evil because there are a lot of older people that get crushed by society. Even in the present day, the majority of the people who are fans of my music are younger. Like I'm talking like 18 to 27. I think after that age, you start to get bogged down. And I knew a lot of women that I was cool with when I was younger, and they were really fiery and they were really like strong and they were really strange and fearless. A few years ago, I remember looking up a girl I used to know, and she got married, and I was looking at her social media, and it's all like, look at my dining set, and look at my house, and look at my draperies. And I was like, you fucking liar. I know you. You're fucking wild, and you're pretending right now. But I guess a lot of women are like, I want to get married and I want to have babies, and I'm just not gonna fight it anymore. I'm just gonna like fall in line because I just want to get married and have babies, which is fine. I mean, the desire to get married and have babies is fine, but I don't know, if you have to deny who you are and like settle to do it, I don't think it's worth it, in my personal opinion. I just feel like people were really bracing me for what they saw was the reality of the situation, is that as I got older, I will be crushed by society and I will conform and I will become materialistic and anti-black and misogynist because like the machine will eat me in the end. And so it's cute that I'm like an activist now, but it's never gonna last. This is my 18th year being the white noise supremacist, and I not only still believe in the things that I used to believe in, I believe more strongly in it, and I'm much more confident in my beliefs because now they're backed by life experience. I've lived in multiple countries, I've learned different languages, I've had experience all over the world, and so I know the things I say are true now. Before, I was like, things feel wrong, but I don't know, because I'm like 19 and everybody tells me that I'm wrong. But now I'm like, fuck this. Everybody's fucking crazy. You're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. Like, and I don't mind if people think it's judgmental, but it's just like, everything's a scam and everything's a lie, and I just refuse to go along with it. That's kind of what the song was about. The lyrics open up with, blood don't rush through beating hearts just the same. Hands reach out to tear you down, void of shame. I think a lot of people who are anti-black put me and a lot of other Africans in this like safe and acceptable black category. And it's not our fault. Like we're just being ourselves. In the United States, like blackness is very rigidly performed. There's like strict rules and protocol that goes along with having this skin. And if you go off book and do something that people don't feel is stereotypically black in this country, people attack you or they try to call you something other than black because there's no room in people's perception of black people for variety and individualism. We're all the same in people's eyes. And so when you don't behave the way people assume that you should behave, you get attacked. There's like social pushback. And this is from everybody, from Black Americans, from white Americans, from Asian Americans, from Latino Americans. And it just blows my mind that people who aren't even Black feel comfortable telling you that you're not Black enough. Can somebody explain that to me? Can somebody explain how you're not Black, but you feel comfortable telling a Black person that they're not being Black properly? Anyway, but so that happens. And a lot of African immigrants in this country get put into a safe category by racists because the whole, oh, they're ghetto, they're hood, they're yada yada, that doesn't apply to us because that's not our culture. Like if I pretended to be hood, like it would be laughable. I'm a West African nerd who played clarinet in the band. Nobody's believing that I'm hood. And that's fine, but it's like racists tend to view you as like safe because you are not hood. But when they realize that I have a backbone, I'm not going to sit here and be just acted upon because I'm just happy to be invited. Like, no, like I have wants, I have needs, I have desires. I demand respect, and if you don't respect me, I'll leave. I'm not going to sit here and laugh at your racist jokes. I'm not going to sit here and laugh at your misogynist jokes. Like, that's just not me. I don't go along to get along, and if you do something inappropriate, I'm going to say, that's disgusting. But when people see that you're that type of person, they don't like you anymore and they don't smile at you anymore. Now they switch from like, oh, what a good little African who smiles and is polite. They switch from that to like, we need to take her down. We need to teach her a lesson. And it's insane, you know? But that's how people flip when they realize that you're a Black person who respects and values themselves, because that really bothers people for some strange reason. So my song, The Stream Won't Leave Her, is basically a declaration of, well, I'm not going to be what you expect of me. I'm going to be who I am. And if you become my enemy because of that, then so be it. I have common sense and I acknowledge reality. So this dream that I have, this ideal reality that I know should exist but doesn't, is not going anywhere. The song could be perceived as maybe a letter to my younger self, just letting her know that like, yeah, we're still going and you're on the right path. And don't listen to the people who try to convince you that this is not a path that you should follow, because the majority of them are doing so because they don't want to see you surpass them, first of all, but also they don't want to see you succeed where they failed. And so all the people who in their youth used to stand for something and then like grew up and then changed because they wanted to get married and have babies, or they wanted to make a lot of money or whatever, those people don't want to see somebody who's maintained their integrity and their authenticity win. Because if I remain who I am and stay true to what I believe and I win, that means that you could have done the same thing. So you didn't have to go around tap dancing and laughing at racist jokes and laughing at misogynist jokes and being demeaned and degraded and denying your Africanness and denying your Blackness. And you didn't have to do any of those things. You just chose to do them because you didn't value who you were enough to hold on to it. And so when I become successful doing things my way, I'm proof that the people who did things the safe way didn't really have to do that. It reminds me of a story. I was coming home and I was in the subway, and in Berlin, the escalators do not stay on, or at least back then, they did not stay on all the time. They had motion sensors, and so when you walk up to the escalator, then the escalator turns on. And you move there and you get used to it, and so you take it for granted that everybody knows that. So I was coming out of the subway station and I was getting ready to go up the escalator to go up to the street. And I saw these girls who were obviously, I don't know if they were tourists, they were probably just moving to Berlin because they had huge bags. And there was a huge staircase, which was the main part of the stairs. And then to the side, there was the escalator going up. I think because these girls, I guess they came from a country that didn't have motion sensors on their escalators, they assumed that the escalator was broken. And so they took their huge bags up this giant staircase. And when I came out of the subway going towards the escalator, they were in the middle of the staircase, right? So they had gone up quite a way with their bags. And because I had lived there, I knew that the escalators were on motion sensors. So I walk up to the escalator, and then the escalator turns on, and I step on, and I'm just slowly going up past them. The look on these women's faces was like a combination of, I feel so fucking stupid right now, and oh my God, I'm gonna kill this bitch on the escalator. Because they simultaneously were like, we didn't have to do all this. We could have just gone up and that's how I feel like over the years, like I face a ton of hostility, especially from women. I theorize that it's because they view my success as me going up the escalator while they're stuck carrying their bags up the steps because they thought their way was the only way. And I face this from black men too. Because you're not conforming and you're not eating shit and you're doing well, the people who are conforming and who are eating shit are looking at you like, she better not make it to the top of that escalator. I'm gonna be pissed, because when I make it to the top of the escalator, it's proof that like you didn't have to carry those bags of shit up the stairs. You could have just done it this way. That bothers people. People are not really so concerned with getting there. I think they're more concerned with being right. And I think it really bothers people when an African woman is right because we're not supposed to be. I mean, we're not supposed to know the right answer. Like white guys are supposed to know the answers. So white guys say, you better eat shit from me, otherwise no career for you. And so everybody just eats shit from them. And then I'm an African woman, I'm like, hey, like literally stop eating shit from white people. Like you don't have to do that. Like you could do things yourself and like not be covered in white people's shit, and like most people in my experience, they get angry that I even suggested doing things a different way because how dare I think I know better than them because they're better and smarter than African women. But then also like, how dare I have the bravery to not do what everybody else is doing because I'm supposed to be less than because I'm an African woman. And it's really insane, but I think it's really cool that like a lot of younger women, especially black women, are fans of my music because then y'all can see like y'all can take the escalator. Like y'all don't have to be lugging your shit up the stairs. Like it takes maybe 18 to 20 years, but I don't have anybody's shit on me. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not addicted to drugs because I haven't had to do anything to cope with all the shit that I've allowed and tolerated. People look at me crazy because they think that like, oh, if you're a rock musician, you have to be like a basket case. It's like, no, you don't have to be a basket case because like I'm not running from anything. I'm not escaping anything. I don't need to be out of my mind on like drugs or alcohol because like being in my mind is not unpleasant. I feel at home with myself and I'm not fighting anything within me. Everything I fight is outside of me. When I'm not dealing with that, I have peace. That's a peace that comes from just really committing to what you believe in, the way that you see things, and not allowing yourself to be swayed. And that's what the song is about. It's basically me, like after 18 years and after an album, just being like, yeah, I'm back at it again. And I'm not going nowhere. I may go somewhere for a while because like I need to live my life. I need to rest. Taking the escalator, I use that analogy because of the story, but like doing it this way is not a walk in the park. It's rough. And frankly, like I would switch it. I feel like colluding with white supremacy and colluding with patriarchy to become materially successful, I feel like that's taking the escalator. And I feel like carrying your shit up the stairs is doing what I do. But like, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Like your calves look good because you're working them calves. You're stronger. You can carry big bags. You're not winded walking up the stairs. If you can make it up that large height for so long, when things get easier for you, you're gonna coast. It's like training for a marathon at high altitude. When you're at sea level, how easy is it gonna be? I look at the past 18 years of my career as like training at high altitude. I recommend it. Being famous is not worth any of the shit that people do to be famous. And I think if you really ask a famous person, all the shit that you tolerated, all the things that you've kept your mouth shut about or just rolled with, was it really worth it to be where you are? If they keep it a buck, if they keep it 100, they would be like, no, it's not. It wasn't worth it at all. And if I had to do it again, I wouldn't. I would just recommend just like not worrying about people being famous. I saw clips of the Met Gala, and apart from like obsessing over Anoki, I just didn't give a shit. It was like depressing to me. I think just like celebrities and fame is just ridiculous. But anyway, back to my music. Yeah, that's basically what this dream was Won't Leave Her is about. And as usual, I recorded it myself. I played all the instruments myself. I composed everything, I produced everything. And I think the bass line I came up with is fucking sick. It's one of my favorite bass lines. I hope you like it, and it's everywhere now. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.